All right, and welcome back to the Prometheus preseason cast assessment. This is the obvious podcast where we talk about the cast of season 3, and today we're going to be talking about the last 5 members of Season of the Oracle. And today my co-host is Louise, season 2 alumni and the queen of the Sticks. How you doing today, Louise?
Also frequent beach goer.
Yes, I can see.
Feeling very relaxed, very excited.
You know, it's funny. Like, I always usually ask people how they're doing, and I asked you as if we did not literally just talk for over 4 hours prior to this podcast. But I'm very excited. We just started to dip into people, and we decided this is now the time. We got to talk about these people. So first on our list is Quinn. Quinn is 22. I believe currently he is unemployed, but as of the time of his application submission, he works for Amazon as a warehouse worker. But he's really interesting. He just recently graduated college. I believe he was at one point is fraternity president. He did a lot of stuff with politics, including, recently working on some local politicians' campaigns. So that can, especially if you really know a lot of, the strategies that go into politics, those types of things can very well translate into a game like this. So what did you think about Quinn?
Yeah, I really, really, really liked Quinn's interview. In a lot of ways, he kind of reminded me of a toned down version of me, and we know I'm a narcissist, so I was buying into it. I loved, he pointed out that he can be kind of quick to anger. I think he mentioned at points he can be quick to lose it, but in a professional setting, he never does. He knows when to hold it and he knows when to give it, which is extremely valuable. And there are a lot of people who, when they are emotional, will just pop off. But I like the fact that he can kind of, pull it back, okay, yeah, I'm a little bit mad, but I'm not gonna let them see it. I'm not gonna let them think it. Yeah, the whole being the president of a fraternity, I think that's gonna help because I've watched American movies. I feel like that is a whole mess. Never experienced it, never want to, but we'll watch a lovely movie about it. And dealing with all kinds of people, rowdy, quiet, whatever, and he's kind of, I feel like he's just very calming. And I feel like that will also help. He's social enough, but not too in your face that he'll become a threat for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think also with the even though you only know the back 5 of our cast right now. Oh my God, we skipped someone. We skipped Meredith.
We'll come back to her.
Yeah, we can come back to her. Anyway, I feel like this season is a little bit more balanced in terms of personalities and different types of players. We try and do that for each season, but I think with Quinn, there should not necessarily be a case of him getting drowned out by the bigger personalities. I think he could potentially find himself somewhere in the middle, especially if he plays all of it right. But the one thing about Quinn too is that compared to some of this cast is he's never played any of these sort of games. And, actually running through his application, he watched a little bit of Big Brother, but he's not really a reality competition viewer. So he could potentially be coming in at a disadvantage from that alone. But last I did hear, he was watching season 2 of Prometheus, which that's still going to give you a good context of how our game works. So hopefully, if he draws on everything from the prior season, he could potentially use that to his benefit, including everything with his, political background. Let's hope that he can actually put 2 and 2 together on that. But I have pretty high hopes for him. It's really hard to say, in a cast of 15, one is going to win. Not everyone can win. So I really don't know. But any final thoughts on Quinn, and then we're going to backtrack to Meredith.
Yes. I do want to say, as much as it can be a disadvantage to not really be in the reality TV show kind of world, most of us are, it could also be a huge advantage because he's not coming in with any preconceptions or expectations or, whatever. If he only has kind of Prometheus season 2 and maybe season 1, if he goes back and watches that to kind of go off of, he's going to be only really aware of this format and kind of how to play within this format. I think it can be kind of hard to adapt if you've been used to playing one thing and you have to come in and kind of adapt it to something very different. I think it can be kind of unsettling. It took me a hot second to kind of grasp everything, and I feel like, I mean, I've been playing orcs for like nearly half my life, so I feel like in a lot of ways, as much as it's a disadvantage, it could be seen as an advantage. It's just how he kind of handles it.
Yeah. So let's hope that he can, adapt to this game, very quickly, because that is definitely the key, is adaptability. So moving back to Meredith. Meredith is a 49-year-old teacher. She has played a couple games before. I think primarily, in terms of reality stuff, she's familiar with Survivor and the Traitors. She's only played like Survivor games. And she's done relatively well. I don't think she's ever won. But I could definitely see, even despite her age, I could potentially see her being very cutthroat. I think she's starting to really, get the ropes on how to play these types of things, these types of games. So I'm actually really excited, because especially we see so many young people play this game. It's always exciting when we have anyone that's on the older side. Not that 49's old, but compared to the org community, who's probably they average on what, like maybe early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
So I could see her coming in and showing, the younger people a thing or two.
Oh, for sure. Nothing but love for my flamingo queen. She had loads of flamingos behind her, in her interview, which I adored. But like, she seems, when she was talking about like the LRGs that she's played, she did say that she wanted to be more cutthroat, and I believe that she'll probably come full force with that, because I feel like it's actually easier to be cutthroat with people you've only met 48 hours ago, if that, maybe 24 hours ago. And I she said that she's very logical, and I see that. And she mentioned something in particular, that she's able to like reshift people's focus, is what she said. Like if there's a name, she's able to kind of take that and turn it around to what she wants. And that's going to be extremely, extremely useful if she can pull it off in this kind of setting, because names are flying out there fast and you don't have a lot of time, especially, if you can't message people, you need to be popping around those rooms and you need to be pushing your agenda. So if that's something that she can do, I'm sure she'll go far. I do kind of feel like maybe she'll be okay for like the first day, but I feel like if she is going to keep pushing more so what she wants, she's probably going to be one of the stronger players, obviously stronger players, going into, the second day if she's there.
Well, see, that's another interesting thing too. We've seen from prior seasons of Prometheus that like sometimes those players that do push, the game forward, push the names out. It seems like they end up becoming huge targets for season 2. So I mean, it's always very interesting. You need to have a really nice, delicate balance of that. I think of, in season 1, we saw, Colin, who got out, who actually still made it pretty far in day 2. We got him out. Bloody was also another huge person. Now, granted, she wasn't necessarily always pushing the names out, but like she was seen as someone who was like leading the pack socially, I guess. So like, it's very interesting. I really hope, for the best with her. And I would love to see her kind of manipulate the vote to readjust names. Cause that'll just straight up make for really good, entertaining TV.
Exactly. And I do think, obviously I only see 5 people, but I just got this vibe from her that like, if anyone could do it, I feel like it could be her out of these 5. I feel like there's such potential surrounding her. For me, I would out of this bunch, I'd be putting my money on her. I feel like if she can kind of go for a more subtle approach to like reshifting focus and getting what she wants, if she can kind of subtly manipulate people, I feel like she'll go very far. And she does come across as quite disarming, like I don't look at her and be like, oh, Snake vibes at all. I see like, I mean, she says it herself. She's a grandmother. She's a mother of however many she said. I forgot. But like, if she uses that, it's amazing. I think that's a winning combo.
Yeah. And, I know I kind of said something slightly different prior to, the recording of this podcast, but I I completely forgot that we were actually talking about her during this one. I was thinking she's going to be the second podcast. But no, you know what? Actually, I think I agree. I think she probably is higher on my list at the moment. And I think this is a situation in which if she can get over the initial hump of like her being labeled as like the older woman that's playing the game, then she could potentially, assuming she's got the good social game to back it up, it could come an endearing trait, for her. I think about like something like Tracy in season 2, where like, say what you will about Tracy in a number of different ways, like everyone did like her. Nobody hated her, so let's see if maybe we can take that factor, but then make her like cutthroat. So.
Yes. And like everyone loved Tracy, as you said. And I feel like what Tracy was lacking was that kind of like drive. Not drive, I hate to say that, but like initiative, I would more so say, of like pushing forward her agenda. And Meredith came across as very much like, I am pushing my agenda and I will get what I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I feel like that would be the perfect combination of that kind of like disarming sweetness. I'm the quote unquote older, even though she's not old, person on the team, in the cast, whatever. I feel like we saw the two eldest women last season get very, very close to the end. I don't see why Meredith couldn't.
Yeah, the two oldest players made it to the final 5. It was impressive. Yeah, with Meredith. And, this is an instance in which, like, the experience of knowing reality competitions and playing in these, sort of games, this is where it can benefit you. But yeah, I mean, just as equally, it could hurt you. It's just a matter of how you handle your experience, how you can handle that kind of information and use it to your benefit. So. All right, moving on to our 4th player, we have Tawni. Tawni is 29 years old. She is a manager at a retail store. She watches a lot of reality competitions. She's played tons of orgs. I've actually played with her roughly like almost exactly it was a year ago we were playing in a game together as of the recording of this podcast. She's very interesting. I think she definitely she can have a good social game. She can have a good strategic game. She can be emotional. And I'm going to talk about her a little bit more frankly because we do know each other. But I think if Tawni can kind of keep things in check and not blow up, then I think she could very easily make it far. She's no dummy. She knows how these things work. But it's very interesting because like the game that we did play together, who also one of the other players we played with was Mark from season 2. They had a huge feud in the game, which called pretty much they had a public blowout that like those two did not stop because they both got very emotional about it. So it's very interesting. We could potentially see Tawni be very emotional and explosive, or we could potentially see her keep things in check and actually make it really far and potentially win the game. But what do you think?
All of my notes for Tawni are in all caps because I was so excited. I fell in love. Didn't know if it was wife goals or life goals, but I knew I wanted to be around her for the rest of my life. One of my notes, one of the biggest downs of her I have on my notes is that I just put too chaotic, I fear, which is, I think, like just like what you said, she would need to keep her emotions in check. But God, some of my notes, one of my notes is just, she loves yelling at men, ? And then an exclamation mark because it actually made me excited.
Yeah.
She mentioned that she gets in her head and gets paranoid and tries to strike first before the other person betrays her, but they were never planning on betraying her. She said she's never won and she's been playing since like 2017. And I was like, stop saying this because it's making me not want to like root for you, but like I love you, so stop it. Yeah, I feel like I would want to be her best friend, and I wouldn't be surprised if other people feel that way about her initially as well. Like, oh my God, she's so fun. Oh my God, this is so exciting. She seems very excited. I'm excited. If she can keep her emotions in check and not get chaotic, maybe because it's a shorter game, maybe the thoughts in her head won't strike, but maybe if she finishes day one, by the time she wakes up to day two, she'll be able to have a whole plan formulated of how to betray her closest allies. You never know.
Yeah.
Um, I just I have so many love heart emojis. She mentioned me in her interview, and that immediately as well. As I said once before, I'm a narcissist. You mentioned me, I love you. Um, Pretty Queen, she is winning. I also put um, emotional player. Wow, no logic. I love her. Like I genuinely, I fell in love, and she's a Swiftie. So my heart is beating entirely for her. She's who I want to win. I would love to witness her make her way to the end. But she even said like she's such a bad liar that she doesn't tend to lie. And so I'm like, please, I want you to win so hard. And I've only known you for 12 minutes and I've actually never actually met you. But I even put, does she even need to win? Who needs logic when you have Taylor tickets? Either way, I think she's going to be one of the most entertaining people. And I cannot wait to see what she brings.
I think she is probably going to be the either first or second biggest personality we have in the season.
I thought you was going to say first or second boot. I was going about to punch you.
I hope that I don't want anyone to, get out first. That's going to happen. Obviously, someone's got to get out first. I would find it hard for seeing a Tawni win. Not to say that I want everyone to win, and I'm not saying I don't want her to win, but I find it hard to maybe see a Tawni win. I could see her making it very far. But what I do think is that at the end of the day, everyone will either love or hate her. I think she's going to be a very polarizing player for the audience. And hell, even the other players.
Well, I 100% see that. I can totally see how she would come off as in a negative light, as much as I see the positiveness. I just hope that she's surrounded by a team who embrace her and love her, and want to keep her around. I do think it was like there was a question you asked and it was like, do you see yourself as like logical or emotional? And she was like, what did she say? She said, oh no, I was wrong. You said social competition or drama queen or something like that. And she said like she would say social and competitions, but other people she would label her as a drama queen. And all I have to say to that is the river, the Nile is a river in Egypt. You are a drama queen. Like it's the facts are facts. The Pope is Catholic. She is a drama queen, and the denial of that fact does make me worry about her perception of herself. I just hope that she can keep it calm and cool and fun on the first day and maybe let out the kooky energy on the second. Because I just want to see her make it as far as I want the stick segments. I'm not gonna lie. She's probably not gonna win, but if she can make it to the sticks, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I would be even honored to share a placement. I'm in love with this woman.
I will also say too that the Tawni that I guess she talks about, the Tawni that everyone experiences in these games, especially some of these games in the org community where it's the same like 5-10 people you see in like every fucking game. She ends up playing in a lot of those games. She ends up playing with a lot of friends. Coming into this game, to my knowledge, she does not know anyone here. She might know of somebody, but she doesn't know anyone here. And with that too, she's been messaging in her production chat and taking a page out of the Book of Bloody by doing notes on the whole season. When she's originally watching season 1, she binged it in like 2 days. She was literally watching it like at work, on her break, all that in her car, stuff like that. But now she's sending us notes. I think we are potentially seeing maybe a new era of Tawni, one who's trying to study the game and learn how to adapt to different game mechanics.
I love that. I love the fact that she's been studying and taking pages out of Bloody's book because, yeah, she's gonna need it. And like, do your homework. Figure out how you want to play it. If she comes in with that more logical kind of head on, I think that, or maybe I'm just biased, but listen, I want to see her at the end. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see her make a speech. I want to see her get the votes to win. And then I want to meet her and talk to her and have her be my wife.
All right. We'll end it on that note. So we have one final player here. We have Victoria. She's 23. She's currently in college. She does watch Survivor and Big Brother, and she's only played a couple games. She's currently in a game right now that I believe is a Big Brother game, although this happened after her interview. And she had played, I think, some Twitter games and stuff like that. But, there is she had like unfortunate, there was an unfortunate circumstance. I'm not going to air out the business of it. And she was on the bad end of some bullying and stuff like that. And I just think there is something so sweet about her, something so endearing about her that like, I really want her to succeed. I really want her to make it far. I want her to have a good experience. She does tend to come off kind of a little bit more quieter, which could potentially be a really big struggle in the beginning. But I think if she could potentially make it past the first vote or so, she might be able to get herself into some sort of group, into some sort of alliance. And from there, let's see if that endearing nature in her like carries her far into the game. Because I there's something about her. I want to root for her. I could potentially see her being an underdog. Like I want her to go far.
Yeah, exactly. Like from the moment I opened her interview and I heard like even her voice is so sweet. Like she just is her demeanor and her mannerisms, she just comes across as the most sweet person. And she is someone who you're gonna want to root for 100%. And she's had some bad experiences, and like I also just want her to have the best experience possible, and that includes I hope she gets far. I think early in the game, I think at least from my experience, it's all about getting in the right room, essentially with whatever team you're on. And if she can get in the right room, it doesn't necessarily matter if she's quiet. As long as she says something and agrees to whatever people say, I think that she won't necessarily be on anybody's radar. But also, again, like we saw in season 2, Ariana was the first to go, and she was kind of like the quiet, sweet person. So if she ends up in the wrong room, she could be the quote unquote easy target. If she performs well in the first challenge and maybe in challenges in general, I can see no reason for them to go for her. But also she compared herself to Brittany Haynes from Big Brother, and I love that. Or she said she wasn't maybe a DR queen like Brittany Haynes, but she would love to be, and I loved that. And she also said she liked Nicole Franzel, and I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that. She is 100% right when she said that Nicole Franzel is probably one of the best players and maybe should have won the All-Star season she was on. I don't know if she can pull off Nicole Franzel's gameplay, but I will be rooting for her, unlike I did Nicole Franzel.
Fair enough. Now, out of curiosity, I'm not a Big Brother person. The Brittany thing, what's the comparison there?
Brittany was like in Big Brother 12 and Big Brother 14, she was like America's sweetheart. She was funny, she was cute. She was a little bit spicy in her confessionals and her DRs, but she was by far everybody's favorite person. Considered one of the best personalities in Big Brother history.
Wow. Maybe I need to watch those seasons then. But
12, maybe not. 14, definitely.
With Victoria though, I really do wish her the best. And you know what, even if for some reason she ends up getting out early, let her bring that spicy confessional. Let her really bring the energy to those, so that way she can leave her mark on the game.
100%.
Do you have any final thoughts about Victoria or any of the other players for that matter before we conclude this podcast?
I will just quickly say about Victoria as well, as if I haven't spoken enough. She did say that she is quite emotionally sensitive, which is fine. You can be. I don't see her getting into any fights and I know the way you cast. You're not going to cast anyone who's going to be mean for no reason.
Yeah.
But she did say that she would prefer to be honest if she has to. I think she's so sweet and so endearing. Maybe it's the rat queen coming out of me. Maybe it's the knife that I've got hiding in my pocket. But I'm like, use it. Use it and stab people. Cut their throats. Let them be drawn in with the knife. Goodbye. Off to the sticks you go. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of like hidden potential just under the surface. I don't know if she'll quite realize that yet, but I think it's there.
Could you fucking imagine if she came off as like America's sweetheart the first day and the second day just started killing people?
It would be so good. And
Oh
I feel
man.
like it's right there. It's right there because she even said like Nicole Franzel. She likes Nicole. Nicole Franzel is one of the biggest snakes in Big Brother history. She's there with a knife. Victoria, bring your knife. Bring it. Bring your venom. Bite in. She even did. She also did Taylor Swift references. The snakery is right there. Let it jump out. Let it jump out.
All right. So on that note, best of luck to all the players. The game's already finished, I guess, at this point by the time you're listening to it. But best of luck to all the players. And thank you, Louise, for coming on. I really appreciate that. And for anyone who doesn't know, Louise is actually on production for season 3, and we're happy to have her here. So thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And on that note, have a good night. Bye.